Whispers in the Well has been insanely fun, and opening this set has been insane because there are so many playable legendaries that are just boosting the meta like crazy, and it's kind of creating a problem. See, if you're new to this game or you're trying to jump back in, there's a bit of a financial dilemma to playing a competitive meta deck. The truly top meta decks are ranging from $300 to $500. Here, come take a look with me. Looking here at Dreamborn, if we just go to popular decks and we just think of some of the most popular decks we've got right now, we've got Blue Steel, for instance. Look at this. $447, $457, $448. I mean, all around $450 and up. Then if we were to look at, let's say, Purple Steel, another popular deck here, we're looking at $300, $421, $280 on the low end, $400. I mean, the only other deck we've got that's really topping the meta in the big three right now is Blue-Green, and we're seeing $362, $377, $400, $270. I mean, in general, the top decks right now are just expensive. Now, expensive decks are not necessarily anything new to Lorcana, but this set has created a lot of expensive meta decks. So if you're new to the game or you're just coming back, what are you to do? Are you to drop hundreds upon hundreds of dollars on a good deck just so you can compete? Well, if you're competitive and you're on a budget, I've got the deck for you. This ink combination has had some serious accomplishments lately. Just even at the past 2 DLCs, which were about a month and 2 months ago, we saw lists making top 8s and even top 4s. And just this past weekend, there was a CCQ with over 300 players, and the top 4 consisted of 2 deck lists of this color combination, and one of them even took the win. What deck is it? Da, 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 da. Amber Emerald Dogs. Now, this deck is by no means anything new to the meta. This deck really originated about set 7 when we started seeing some of these dog-specific cards. And it's really just been in the fringes of the meta for quite some time. We've seen roughly 5 to 8% representation in big tournaments. But more recently, it's been seeing some very competitive play. For instance, 2 really well-known pro players have taken dog lists to the past 2 DLCs. Previous DLC winner and 3rd place contestant in Worlds, Zach Bivens, played dogs at DLC Bologna. And then another previous DLC winner, Zan Syed, played dogs at both DLC Bologna and Milwaukee. So this deck really has some legs, and I think it could be a great deck for someone who's looking for a budget meta killer. Now, there are 2 main variants when it comes to the dogs list. Primarily, we have ourselves the Circle of Life variants, which kind of are the upper scale costs equivalents, where they look at playing this card Circle of Life to bring out some of these bigger characters like Prince Philip or Clarabelle or Surfer Stitch, to be able to get the advantage of these cards without actually being able to ramp to the ink costs for them. And this deck is doing pretty well, but the version of the deck I want to encourage you to play is primarily known as Chroma Dogs. Here we have the first place Barcelona CCQ list. It is sitting at $93. And really, it's just playing Chromacon and a lot of aggro. This list is super attainable. And to prove my point, I took a similar list to locals this week, thinking, you know what, if I'm going to make a video about Amber Emerald Dogs being a good budget list, might as well get some real world practice. So I took it to our local game store where we had 4 rounds of Swiss. And though I didn't play perfectly, and it was really my first time playing this deck in person, I went 4-0. And my local scene is pretty good. We have a guy who made it into Top Cut at one of the DLCs last season, and I was able to take him down with dogs. And so if you're getting intimidated by the big prices in the card market for some of these decks, I want to encourage you to give dogs a shot. Now, I'm not a pro player by any means, but I figured it'd be good to at least give you some content on what to look for when you're playing dogs. A buddy of mine, he plays dogs all the time. I've gotten a lot of games into it, and so I know what you're looking for on the Mulligan, and I know generally how you want to play the deck. So we're going to do a few simulations of the Mulligan and talk through a bit of the play out. But primarily, if you are interested in giving this deck a shot, I'd highly recommend going and looking online for some metaphys or some free YouTube tutorials on this deck. So we've got our first Mulligan. This is not a bad hand whatsoever. Having Ursula is great if you're trying to rip out some songs. I like Mowgli a bit more than Ursula now, but I think it's still good. Tramp, Lady, Lilo. I think we're pretty golden here, other than maybe needing another one drop. So I think I'm going to drop our Go-Go and our Prince Philip. I would like to drop Lilo, but I think it's safe and sound to keep. So we're going to Mulligan 2. Bringing in another Tramp, basically another one drop. Lady is the key card here. So we're going to be playing Lady first. Lady, when boosted by cards like Tramp or just playing other cards, is going to make her be able to quest for 3 whenever she has 3 attack. That is awesome. We've got Clarabelle to help us get a little bit of card draw later on, or ink if we need her to. So the way I would really start is I would probably find myself inking the Lilo here, then playing the Lady. Turn 2, I would be looking at hopefully inking whatever I draw, but if I have to, I'm going to ink one of these Tramps, so then I can play Tramp and Lady in quest for 3. If they didn't play anything that can take out my Lady, it's a strong start, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything to stop me. If I drew into a 1-drop, I'm going to probably play this Ursula and the 1-drop so that I can try to rip any cards out that might be causing me trouble, like a Malicious, Mean, and Scary, or other songs like Strength of a Raging Fire. Let's go for another Mulligan. Looking at this, I'm seeing I don't really need these Clarabelles off the draw, and I'm probably not needing Lilo here. And so I need to dig for a few more tools, so let's go for a Mulligan here. This is awesome. Mowgli is great. It's going to keep Spooky Sight from wrecking our game plan or any other type of action. And so I'm going to start by playing the Lady, and then we're going to do a similar play like we did before, where we're going Lady Tramp, possibly Daisy Tramp, depending on what gets played, if they have a 1-drop with some serious attack, like a Captain Hook or something, depending on what matchup I have. Webby is another great character here to boost your Lady. It's almost equivalent to playing 2 character cards. If you were to play Webby and the Mowgli on turn 3, then you're going to boost Lady again for a 3 quest. So overall, these are great starting hands. Let's see if we can find something a little harder. Here we go. Not as clear and easy. We don't have Ladies. Ladies are such a clear and obvious play, the 1-drop Lady. So since we have this, we need to figure out what we want to look for instead. I don't like game planning for the 3-drop Lady. She's not particularly the card I want to jump onto. I'd rather draw into her. So we're going to drop 3-drop Lady. Go-Go's another card I like to see late. Lilo we're possibly going to keep because of Bobby. So I think we drop a Webby and we keep these 4. This will allow us to turn 1, possibly play the Bobby, discard the Lilo, and have Lilo ready for us later, or we can do that at another point. So let's draw and see what we get. Semi-good. We got ourselves a Lady, which is really strong, but Ursula was not necessarily needed, and especially not a Mowgli. So we're going to find ourselves inking some of these characters. So turn 1, I'm probably going to play this Lady by inking either the Ursula or the Mowgli. This is primarily dependent on who I'm playing against. If I don't know the matchup, I'm going to ink Ursula, because Ursula is a lot tighter on the type of cards it can get rid of. It's only songs, while Mowgli can get rid of any sort of action card. It's just the opponent's choice. But if I know I'm playing against something like Purple Steel, I'm going to want to keep the Ursula, as that's going to be far more helpful than the Mowgli to rip a song that could cause me some trouble. Let's do one last one for practice. Decent hand. We've got Tramp 7. This is really good to be going for, but we need a lot of cheap cards to be able to pull off Tramp 7. So that means we're going to drop our Clarabelle and probably drop both of these Go-Go's. I think I'm going to keep the Ursula because we need to have some mitigation, and it's not a terrible 2-drop. So we're going to Mulligan 3. We find ourselves in the Chromacon, which is not great, but we do have some ladies, so we're strong on the 1-drops. We just have a very uninkable hand. So once again, depending on what color matchup we're against, we'll ink the Mowgli or the Ursula, play the lady, hopefully draw into more inkables so we can double lady here, while turn 3 possibly playing the Emerald Chromacon or setting up Ursula or Mowgli to rip something out of their hand, and then turn 4 we're looking to play this tramp. So that's just some quick Mulligan run-throughs, but if you really want to take this deck seriously, I highly recommend looking up a player named Ghosty, who gave this deck a lot of attention in previous sets, and he could definitely give you some core knowledge to these lists. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this inspires some to play some dogs at locals this week. I hope this is helpful to those who are struggling to get those really expensive cards and just want to play an affordable, fun deck. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.